Right now, your dog might be tearing apart a couch cushion, barking through the walls, or pacing by the door the second your car backs out of the driveway. You think it is defiance. You think he is bored? He is not. And in the next few minutes, you're going to hear the real reason why. Plus, the exact shift you need to make before you ever touch the doorknob. You have tried treats, tried toys, maybe even a white noise machine humming in the background. Nothing sticks. And that feeling of walking through your own front door and bracing yourself for what you might find, that feeling is exhausting. If that scene is familiar, take a breath, because what you are dealing with is not defiance, and it is not a personality flaw. It is one of the most misunderstood pieces of dog behavior in the entire world of pet ownership. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why it happens and what actually works. You are not failing your dog. You have probably read articles, watched videos, maybe even talked to a trainer, and still ended up standing in a room full of chewed cardboard wondering what you missed. Here is the truth. Traditional dog training mistakes almost always focus on the surface. They tell you to crate the dog, ignore the whining, add more exercise, buy a pheromone diffuser, or turn on the television for company. And sometimes those things help a little, but if they solve the real issue, you would not still be watching this video. Let's talk about why the obvious answers keep failing. A pheromone diffuser can soften the room, but it cannot change what is happening inside your dog's nervous system. White noise can mask a siren outside, but it cannot rewrite the story your dog is telling himself the moment you pick up your keys. Some owners even bring home a second dog, hoping company will fix the loneliness, only to end up with two anxious animals instead of one. None of these are wrong to try. They are just aimed at the wrong target. They treat the symptom, and the symptom was never the actual problem. What if the mess on the floor was never about defiance at all? Here's the part almost nobody explains to you. Your dog isn't misbehaving when the couch cushion ends up in pieces. Your dog is communicating in the only language available to him. That something happened to his internal state long before you ever touched the doorknob. This is where canine psychology and a little bit of biology come together. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Dogs experience what researchers call anticipatory stress. It is not something that starts the second the door clicks shut. It starts earlier, when you pick up your bag, when you put on certain shoes, when your own body language shifts, because you are already thinking about your commute. Your dog is reading all of it. So what is your dog actually reacting to in those final minutes before you walk out the door? Peer-reviewed research published in the journal Frontiers in Veterinary Science measured real physiological activation in dogs during separation, tracking cortisol, heart rate, and heart rate variability, and found measurable stress responses building well before the owner had even left the room. This is not a made-up feeling, and it is not an exaggeration. It is biology, documented and repeatable. And here is the epiphany at the center of everything we teach at Healing Tales Academy. Your dog's stress response does not exist in isolation. It is tied to your own nervous system through what we call the emotional sync method. Dogs are wired to track the emotional and physical state of their person, almost like a living mirror. If your baseline before leaving the house is rushed, tense, or scattered, your dog absorbs that signal and carries it into every hour you're gone. This mirroring principle rests on a simple biological connection. Your dog is not only reacting to being alone, he is reacting to the unresolved energy you left behind in the room. That is the whole premise behind the emotional sync method. Once you understand that your dog's nervous system is constantly syncing to yours, the destructive behavior, the barking, and even the eerie stillness by the door all start to make a different kind of sense. If this idea is landing for you, go ahead and hit like right now and subscribe so the next video on nervous system regulation actually reaches you. It genuinely helps more owners find this information when they need it most. Now, let's talk about something that might be harder to hear. Some of you watching this do not have a dog that barks or destroys anything at all. Your dog is quiet, almost too quiet. He lies by the door, breathing heavily, drooling a little, completely still for hours. And you have probably told yourself that this is the easy dog, the calm one. What if the quiet dog is actually the one you should be paying closer attention to? Veterinary behaviorists see this pattern very differently. Video analyses of dogs with separation anxiety often show them spending long stretches in a frozen, stationary state, not interacting with toys, not eating, not resting either. That is not calm. That is a nervous system stuck in overload with nowhere to release it. This is sometimes the hardest version of separation anxiety to catch, because on the surface, it looks like nothing is wrong at all. So what actually creates this cycle? And why does it seem to get worse over time instead of better? This is the part most owners never connect. Think about the last time you walked in and saw a mess. What did your face do? What did your voice do? Even if you never yelled, even a sharp sigh, a tense shoulder, or a disappointed glance lands on a dog who is already flooded with stress hormones from hours of anticipatory stress. Your dog does not process that moment as, "I made a mistake." He processes it as, "Arrival equals danger." So the next time you leave, his cortisol baseline starts even higher than before, and the cycle repeats itself, each round a little heavier than the last. You are not causing this on purpose. Nobody ever taught you that your response at the door was part of the pattern, because traditional training was never looking at the nervous system in the first place. So here is something you can start today, the practical layer of the emotional sync method. Quietly picking up your keys and sitting back down is a fine starting point. But on its own, it only teaches your dog that a cue is unreliable. It does not lower his cortisol baseline, and that is why it stops working for so many owners after a week or two. What actually moves the needle is layering 3 things together. First, choose one calm, flat departure phrase. Something like, "Watch the house," and say it the exact same way every time you leave. This becomes a neutral departure cue, a signal carrying 0 emotional charge, and predictability like this is the biological opposite of anxiety. Second, give your dog a regulation window. For the 30 minutes before you actually walk out, stop the intense petting, the excited goodbyes, and the last-minute rushing around the house so his body has time to settle before the door ever opens. Third, understand what canine cognition researchers describe as a kind of scent clock. Many researchers believe your scent fading from a room over the hours you're gone becomes its own signal your dog is quietly tracking. Leaving a recently worn shirt near his resting spot will not fix separation anxiety on its own, but it softens that fading. And that is exactly where real change starts. You also want to change what happens the moment you walk back in. No excited baby voice, and no dramatic scolding either. Just calm, boring, neutral energy for the first minute or two. Set your bag down, take off your shoes, maybe pour yourself a glass of water, and only then turn your attention to your dog. Let him settle into your presence before anything else happens between you. This teaches his nervous system that your return is safe and predictable, not a performance and not a punishment waiting to happen. Predictability more than excitement, is what actually lowers a dog's baseline stress over time. These two shifts alone, changing your pre-departure energy and changing your arrival energy, address the root cause of dog behavior in a way that a pheromone diffuser never could, because you are finally speaking to the actual source. That source is emotional attunement between the two of you, not just managing symptoms after they already appear on your living room floor. Here is what I want you to remember before you close this video. Your dog isn't misbehaving. He never was. Every torn cushion, every bark your neighbor complains about, every hour spent frozen and still by the door, all of it is one nervous system trying to talk to another one, waiting patiently for you to finally understand the language. We built something for exactly this moment. It is called the Emotional Sync Method Checklist. 10 things to check before every interaction with your dog. And it is completely free. No email required. You will find it waiting in our community tab. And it is the perfect place to start applying what you just learned today about pre-departure energy and calmer arrivals. And if this video opened your eyes to how much your own nervous state shapes your dog's entire world, our full guide, The Dog Who Understands You, walks through the complete method in detail, chapter by chapter. So you can address this at the root instead of managing it for the rest of your dog's life. You will also find that guide in our community tab. If this video helped you see your dog differently today, give it a like and share it with someone who has walked through their own front door and braced for the worst. What is your dog really trying to tell you? Your dog isn't misbehaving. He is asking you a question with his whole body every single day you walk out that door. Today, you finally know how to answer him. And if you want to keep building that connection, there is another video waiting for you on the screen right now, with more ways to strengthen the relationship you already have with your own dog.